After such a powerful conversation about adolescents, about teenagers, अब हम फ्यूचर की बात कर रहे हैं. फ्यूचर की बात करने से पहले उनकी बात करना ज़रूरी है जो हमारा फ्यूचर होने वाले हैं. इट इज़ द adolescents. चलिए एक ज़रूरी सवाल पूछते हैं. आर adolescents ओके आफ्टर हियरिंग सच अ ग्रेट इंसाइट्स? क्या लगता है आपको? डियर ऑडियंस, क्या लगता है आपको? आर adolescents ओके? नो, बिकॉज उनकी दुनिया सिर्फ इंस्टाग्राम रील्स, एग्जाम की फील्स और पियर्स की किल्स में ही जुड़ी पड़ी है. हम उनके लाइफ में इन्वॉल्व है, फिर भी उनके इमोशन नहीं समझ पाते हैं क्योंकि वो सवाल ही नहीं पूछते हैं. और उनका सवाल पूछने का सबसे बेस्ट ऑप्शन अगेन चैट जीपीटी, एआई, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. सो टुडे वी आर नॉट जस्ट लिसनिंग, वी आर रिस्पॉन्डिंग. अब हम रिस्पॉन्ड कैसे कर रहे हैं? We are about to hear from those mentors who have, in many ways, become the manual for decoding the adolescent's confusion. Let us enter into the conversation not just as curious as professionals, but as a concerned guardians, ready to understand, emphasize, and act. This panel discussion will help us unpack the emotional challenge and how we, as an educator, as a psychologist, as a community member, and as an individual, can create a meaningful response. Allow me to introduce our insightful panel. Dr. Kamyani Mathur, former director and head of psychology, Gujarat University. With decades of experience, she has shaped not just syllabus, but the psychology itself in an understood Gujarat way. Today, she brings deep insights into the evolving emotional world of the young minds. Please welcome her with a big round of applause. Dr. Mathur. Next up, we have Dr. Neeta Sinha, Associate Professor at PGPU. She is not just an academician, but she bridges the gap between the campus life and mental wellness. Please allow me to welcome her on the stage. Please give them a big round of applause. Guys, तालियों में कंजूसी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Next up as a panelist, we have Dr. Madhusudan Mukherjee, Associate Professor, SLU Arts and HP Thakur College for Girls. His approach is rooted both psychology and lived experience, especially in the context of adolescent girls navigating the academic and social pressure. And steering this meaningful dialogue, we have Dr. Vishal Ghule, Dean and Associate Professor, MIT World Peace University, a voice behind academia and empathy. His work across the institution brings peace, purpose, and psychology together. With that, I would like to hand over the stage to Dr. Vishal, who would be moderating the entire panel discussion. Thank you.
I think before starting, we need to all stand up and let the blood flow to the places which has been deprived for some time. If you could just turn right, everybody turn right, turn to right, okay? And if you could just touch the shoulder of the person who is next to you, okay? And just help them feel their muscle. Just help them feel their muscle. Just help them do that. Okay? Now to the next shoulder, other shoulder. Do it to the other shoulder. Okay? Now for those which is like possible, if you could hug a knee, okay? If you could do that. For those who possible, just for 3 seconds, the other knee. Okay? Yeah. Now I guess we are ready for the session. I guess now all of you are physically and mentally settled and ready for the session, because I know it's been a while. We are having some good information, good session, but still neurologically it's 45 minutes that our brain can focus on something. So it's been more than 45 minutes. So I just thought of, let some other firing happen in the brain. And now we are again back to the topic. So before starting to the session, we are going to talk about three different things, as mentioned here uh, in the topic. So I'll just need my paper. Okay. So in the panel discussion, we'll be talking about emotions, we'll be talking about well-being, and we'll be talking about mental health of adolescents. I feel these are very broad, three different broad areas in psychology that we are touching in this session. Now, emotion is something that everybody who wants to learn psychology and they feel like learning emotion will be very enlightening, and it will be very helpful. How do we define emotion? Anybody? There are a lot of students. Anybody? How do we define emotion? Our Bollywood movies and songs have done a lot of bad things with emotions. So psychologically, talking very theoretically here, emotions are activation of autonomous nervous system. It's activation of autonomous nervous system. So there was a famous experiment. A lot of my colleagues are aware of it. A subject was asked to cross a hanging bridge, and there were a subject. The other subject who was there in the middle of the bridge. When he crossed it, when both of them reached there, he was asked, how was the experience? Now the other person who was there at the end of the bridge, there was a lady, a good-looking lady, and this guy, after crossing the bridge, she asked him that, how are you and everything. He was, and they talked about like we should meet again after this event and all. When he was asked, how did you feel? He reported, excited. Now the other subject, same bridge, and he was asked to cross it. When he was asked, how did you feel? Because there was no good-looking lady at the end of the bridge. With the second time, he reported it was scary. Now, in both the cases, both of them felt the heart is pumping fast, the skin galvanic response got like there was changed, the temperature of body changed. The same sort of physiological response was there. But both of them interpreted emotion differently. So emotion is more about interpreting the situation, labeling the situation. And that's where a lot of us, parents, teachers, even students, most of the time students, they are going wrong. Recently, last week only, one of my client, he's preparing for JEE, and I feel very sorry for all of those who are going through those classes and whatnot for JEE and all that. It's just terrible. Now he has joined some very expensive tuition. And father is like, I have paid 4 lakh rupees for his tuition. He is going every day and he is bunking the chemistry class. He is not going for chemistry class, specifically for chemistry class. Now, one day the parents decided that हम उसको रंगे हाथ पकड़ेंगे. तो morning 7 o'clock, both the parents, they went to the tuition and they saw that he's sitting in another room and he's doing something in his tab, and the class is going on. And then they अभी पकड़ लिया उसको. टीचर को पूछा तो ही इज लाइक आई डोंट इवन नो हिम, कभी बैठा ही नहीं मेरे क्लास में, कभी नहीं देखा इसको. So maths teacher knows him, physics teachers know him, and he's attending those classes. Chemistry somehow उसको अच्छा नहीं लगता. The parent got furious, and they stopped talking with him. It's a very passive sort of treatment they decided to give. Now this guy he's like मैं भी बात नहीं करूँगा. So both the parties are now talking to each other for some time. And now parents started feeling worried about it, that हमने बात करना बंद कर दिया तो इसने भी बात करना बंद कर दिया. So because of this academics and the competition of JEE and securing IIT, हमारा relation खराब हो रहा है. So when I talked with the guy and with this kid, I asked him, why you are angry? So he's like, I don't know. And my first question was, are you even angry? Or are you sad? So there's a difference between feeling sad and feeling angry. There are two different emotions. What do you think? Your parents are not talking to you. Are they sad or are they angry? Now, when we fail to recognize the emotion, we fail to give reaction. The failed reaction leads to negative consequences. Sometimes we are furious and the reason is we are just hungry. भूख लगी है, खाना खाओ, चिड़चिड़ मत करो. But sometimes भूख लगी है, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So understanding emotion is the key. We'll be deliberating it more with the panel. Other is well-being and mental health. They are very connected to each other. There are two words again. Feeling well and doing well. Well-being is, what do you think? What is well-being? Whether it is feeling well or doing well. How many of you think it's feeling well? Okay. Rest of them, do you feel like it is doing well? Is it both? It is both. Now, there's a debate on this. Even in the psychological literature, there's a huge debate on this. But I personally follow existential psychology, existential psychotherapy. So I have an inclination towards doing well. Feeling well sometime can be, you are binge watching some series on Netflix, having your favorite food. You're feeling well. Doing well is you're studying hard. You're sacrificing on things. You're putting your efforts. You're doing well, not necessarily feeling well. Sometime doing well may not ensure feeling well. And I think with the adolescent, this is something where things are going wrong. Feeling well may not necessarily result in well-being. Doing well is going to result in well-being. So there's a difference. Doing well when, there's a famous book, famous like everybody knows it, but still I would like to, at the cost of repetition, Man's Search for Meaning. Right? So Viktor Frankl, he did well in the Auschwitz. He did well. He never felt well there. But doing well is the well-being, is what I believe. The panelists will focus more on that. And lastly, mental health. How many of you don't know that we need to have a healthy diet? How many of you don't know that we need to sleep well? How many of you don't know that we need to read every day? How many of you don't know that we need to work out? See, we all know, we all are sorted. We all know this. Is it rocket science? We all know that. Where is the problem? We know it, we are not doing it. And why are we not doing it? Is it procrastination? Now, procrastination is not just the sign of negative feeling towards, like, doing something. You feel negative when you do something. Procrastination is more linked with your mental health. And this is the alarm. Just to, before starting with the session and going to the panelist, I would like to give some numbers here. This is by UNICEF. This is a State of World's Children Report 2021. This report says, anxiety and depression, 43% of the children, age 10 to 19, 43% of children, they experience anxiety and depression. Second is conduct disorder. 20% of the children, they experience conduct disorder. ADHD, again 20%. There are many developmental issues. These developmental issues are 15%. And there are rest of the things which falls in the smaller category. They clubbed it together and they are making it around 10%. Now, if we combine this, it is safe to say that almost 50% of the children aged 10 to 19, they are experiencing some or the other mental health related issue. WHO has already called it a pandemic. They have already called that we are going through a mental health pandemic. The numbers are alarming. Now I'll move to the panel. To start with, I would like Dr. Mathur to give her comment on the topic.
So emotional regulation is something which I have been focusing, and we have been doing a lot of research also recently with our PhD students. And everybody, all counselors, all psychologists, psychiatrists, everybody is talking about the psychopathological condition. But I don't know why I keep feeling that we as normal people, our mental health also should be looked into. We need to check that. I feel that there are days when we are emotionally very, very disturbed. So emotional regulation for us is also important. So pathological condition will be taken care of. But before we land up there, before we become like that, and let the percentage increase and the ratio increase, the gender differences increase, let's take care of ourselves too. We always keep saying कि वो हमारा ध्यान नहीं रखते, वो मुझे ऐसा नहीं बताते. आपके अंदर इतनी मैच्योरिटी है ना कि आप खुद अपना ध्यान रख सकते हैं. आप अपना ध्यान रख सकते हैं, इतना विश्वास तो रखिए. Your parents have given you so much of confidence. Your parents have given you so much of the self-esteem. आपका सेल्फ आइडेंटिटी बिल्ड करने के लिए उन्होंने क्या नहीं किया है, कितना आपको प्रोटेक्शन दिया है. So you have good mental health. लेकिन हमें खुद से अपने आप से कुछ नहीं करना. I worked in the Department of Psychology, Gujarat University for 28 years. एक चीज़ की बात मुझे हमेशा in terms of mental health and psychology knowledge मुझे हमेशा खरी कि बच्चे वो कभी क्लास में prepared नहीं आते. आपके पास किताब है, आपके पास सारा मीडिया है, इंटरनेट है, सब कुछ है. Just come and sit blank in the class. और जब एग्जाम में परफॉर्मेंस नहीं होती अच्छी तरह से, तो कहते टीचर ने तो कुछ नहीं बताया, ये वाला थ्योरी तो पढ़ाया नहीं. Am I supposed to give everything to you? Is it possible for any parent, teacher, counselor, psychologist, mental health professional to give you everything? तो आप जो इतने बड़े हो गए तो आप क्या करेंगे? You just want it all ready. That is what I realized. आपको सब थाली में तैयार चाहिए. जब कोई चीज की कमी हो जाएगी, and we are always in the blame game. उसने नहीं दिया इसलिए मुझे ये हुआ, उसने ऐसा किया इसलिए मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, किसी गलत के साथ शादी हो गई तो मेरी जिंदगी खराब हो गई. So we have to take care of our own mental health. कौन आपको बिस्तर में से सुबह 6 बजे उठा के कहेगा चलो दौड़ने जाओ, चलो दौड़ लगाओ, जॉगिंग करो, चलो जाओ थोड़ा वॉक लेके आओ, थोड़ा कसरत करो, अबे थोड़ा कम खाओ, मेरी तरफ नहीं देखना, मैं कम खाती हूँ, बट रेस्ट इज ऑल अप टू गॉड. Metabolism, yes, one of the reasons. So I feel we should be there to take care of our own mental health. Why do we want to depend on other people? ये dependency क्यों? किस लिए? Are you not fit enough? Are you not good enough to take care of your own self? Yes, we are. Believe in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. You have built your good self-esteem. And surely you will touch the heights. हम हमेशा दूसरों को देख के सोचते हैं मेरे पड़ोसी की बेटी है ना, वो फर्स्ट आती है क्लास में, मेरी बेटी तो नहीं आती. मैंने भी ऐसी गलती एक आध बार की है, और उसके बाद में जो रिटेलिएशन हुआ, देन यू नो आई रियली shook myself कि no, that's wrong. पड़ोसी की बेटी अच्छी है, फलाने का बेटा बहुत अच्छा करता है, अरे पता है वो तो फर्स्ट आया, अरे गोल्ड मेडल लाया. It's okay not to get your gold medal. This is what I have learned after learning psychology for so many years. Totally I've taught for 31 years. It's okay to fall. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to have a bad day. हर दिन अच्छा नहीं हो सकता. हर बच्चा गोल्ड मेडल नहीं ला सकता. हर बच्चा सबसे ऊंचाई पे नहीं जा सकता. मेरा बच्चा ऐसा है, वो ऐसा नहीं कर सकता. It's okay to be average. हमको लगता है कि ये रेस है तो दौड़ो. सारी दुनिया दौड़ रही है, पता नहीं किसके लिए दौड़ रही है, लेकिन दौड़ रहे हैं. कहीं ना कहीं आपका मेंटल हेल्थ इस रेस में, इस दौड़ में बिगड़ रहा है. आज सबसे ज़्यादा दुख मुझे होता है जब मैं ऐसे खाली बैठी हूँ या कहीं कुछ सोच रही हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है हमारे रिलेशनशिप्स कहाँ गए. आप अमेरिका हैं तो क्या हो गया, आप कनाडा हैं तो क्या हो गया. आपके फादर की डेथ होती है और आपका बच्चा दाह संस्कार करने नहीं आ सकता क्योंकि वो तो अमेरिका है, वहाँ से उसको छुट्टी नहीं मिली है. बॉस कहता है मर गया ना तेरा बाप, अब रहने दे, वहाँ जाने की क्या ज़रूरत है. ये हमारा रिलेशनशिप है. It hurts, it really hurts. Where are relationships going? Today children are demanding things from the parents. 1 लाख की बाइक है, तुम्हें लाना ही पड़ेगा. आपने फादर का स्टेटस देखा है? क्या वो रियली ये सब कर सकते हैं? As a person from psychology, as a teacher, I have felt हमारे बच्चों में ग्रैटिट्यूड बहुत कम है. फॉरगिवनेस तो है ही नहीं. तू बाहर આવી જા, હું તને જોઈ લઈશ. અરે શું બહાર આવીને શું જોવાનું, આ તારી સામે ઊભી છું, જોઈ લે ને ભાઈ. Why this? Why do we carry these mental baggages? Why do we want to be even with each other? छोड़ दीजिए ना, जाने दीजिए ना, let it be. Sometimes it's very good to let it just go. You cannot get even. Not all the time. I'm not talking about physical strength. So these are the some observations which I have seen.
I'm sure that 31 years of experience working with the student. It's something really huge, and we are all benefited today with this. Ma'am, I would like to encash that 31 years of experience, and would like to ask this question that in this huge journey and experience, what are some of the major broad signs that you have came across when talking with the student that they are having some sort of emotional maladaptation or some sort of emotional crisis?
मैंने तो प्यार दिया बहुत सारा. Forgive, my throat is in a bad way. I have loved my students. I have loved my profession. And very, very sincerely, all these years, I have just taught. But yes, some children are disturbed. I have got so many instances जहाँ लड़की आती है और कहती है कि मैम मेरे फादर ज़बरदस्ती मेरी शादी करना चाहते हैं और वो चाहते हैं कि मैंने बोला नहीं तुम कोर्स नहीं छोड़ना, पढ़ना नहीं छोड़ना, बिकॉज माई फिलॉसफी इज़ व्हाट आई बिलीव कि एक लड़की को जब मैं पढ़ाती हूँ तो समाज में एक पढ़ी लिखी लड़की को मैं खड़ी करती हूँ. कल वो अपने हक के लिए लड़ सकती है. जब उसके साथ अन्याय होता है तो वो कुछ कह सकती है. शी इज़ वेरी मच अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन. तो मैं कैसे उसको पढ़ाई छोड़ के जाने दे सकती हूँ? मैंने बोला चलो मम्मी डैडी को बुलाओ, फ़ोन लगाओ, अंकल आंटी जिसको बुलाना है बुलाओ, उनके साथ बात करते. तो इमोशनली दैट गर्ल इज़ वेरी वेरी डिस्टर्ब्ड. One instance which I remember so clearly is this one girl. She says कि मेरे parents मेरी शादी करना चाहते हैं and soon I will have an engagement. मैंने कहा engage करो, शादी करो, सब करो. हमने नहीं किया. We have a family. Everybody has to do it. It's part of the social life. Unless you choose not to do so. लेकिन जो आपका काम है, आपका प्रोफेशन है, आपकी पढ़ाई है, उसको नहीं छोड़ना. बहुत संघर्ष आता है, बहुत मुश्किल आती है. इवन आई गॉट माई PhD डिग्री आफ्टर आई गॉट मैरिड, बट बहुत सपोर्ट था. पेरेंटल सपोर्ट, हस्बैंड सपोर्ट, बहुत सपोर्ट था. तो मुश्किलें आएंगी, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स आएंगी. सो दिस गर्ल शी केम टू मी एंड शी वाज क्राइंग एंड सॉबिंग एंड फाइनली आई टॉक टू हर पेरेंट्स. पता नहीं क्या बोला, क्या कहा, क्या समझा, लेकिन काम हो गया. और वो लड़की फाइनली क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी का गोल्ड मेडल लेके बाहर निकली मास्टर्स करके. I was clapping exactly like this in her convocation and I stood up and I thought I was going crazy because I let it happen. बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे बहुत सारे problems, personal problems लेके आते हैं. So somewhere I think compassion, somewhere your approachability, to be a little soft and gentle towards, because when you're a teacher in the class, you're kind of very hard, you're very strict, you're very disciplined, nahi, yo, no, it's always like this. But once you're out of the class, I think a humanitarian approach, a compassionate approach is very essential.
That was a very motivating story, and it's kind of a resilience that the girl showed, and thank you for all the support that that you have shown. I would like to move to Dr. Neeta Sinha ma'am, and would like to ask her to give a comment on her opinion about today's adolescents and their emotional crisis that they are going through, and about well-being and mental health that you think is going on at us.
Very nice to see such a huge young crowd over here. And as listening to all the esteemed panelists since the morning, a couple of my experiences in the classroom, and obviously as a mother and as a teacher, there are a lot of young population that we come across. And in yesterday only, there's this paper called Media Psychology, which we have for our PG students. And in yesterday's class, it so happened that I casually asked my students कि आप लोग का कितना कितने समय तक या कितने ड्यूरेशन की रील आप लोग देखना पसंद करते हो? बिकॉज रील, एज डॉक्टर श्रॉफ ऑल्सो मैंशन, इट इज द इन थिंग नाउ डेज एंड वॉट वी कॉल डूम स्क्रॉलिंग. एंड आई वॉट शी मैंशन अबाउट कि पढ़ने ऐसे नहीं पढ़ लेते हैं, वो उनकी उंगलियां ऐसे ही चलती हैं. सो आई कैजुअली हैपन टू आस्क. So there was this class and I was waiting for the response, and then there's this another girl in my class who during the summer break she had interned at some organization which was into digital media marketing. And उसने कहा कि मैम 60 seconds था, पहले हम 1 minute तक रील देखना पसंद करते थे, but we have done a lot of research. We have taken feedback from the students and from the generation, obviously, we are talking about. Now that has come to 20 seconds. अब वो अगर 20 सेकेंड है, ठीक है. 20 से 10-12 होता है तो रजिस्टर नहीं करता है. 30 होते होते हमारा पेशेंस खत्म हो जाता है. उतना कौन देखेगा? तो वो छोटा, जितना छोटा हो सके, जितने में रजिस्टर हो सके, उतना हम पसंद करते हैं. Now, this is the level at which we are. We are talking about adolescence. And you know, these children, you know, the way they drop terms like, I'm stressed, oh, I'm depressed. Now, these are, I mean, if you talk to us psychologists, we would be like, no, you cannot use these terms. But the way the Gen Z and of course Alpha Beta अब जो आएंगे उनका तो पता नहीं, लेकिन and the millennials also, the way they throw these terms, I mean it's like मुझे भूख लगी है, ठीक है, it's a very common term we all say, और दिन में 5 बार बोलेंगे शायद. I'm stressed, I'm depressed, oh I don't know what to do. I mean, where are we going? What are we doing? Where is it that life's taking us? You cannot stand a reel for 20 seconds, more than 20 seconds, and we teachers are literally slogging in the classrooms to get across you 45 to 55 minutes का lecture, and अगर 2 घंटे की हुई तब तो आप बात ही भूल जाओ. You know, very interesting. Many times I have 9 बजे की class. So I go all the way from Ahmedabad to Gandhinagar. मेरी 9 बजे की क्लास with a गृहस्थी, with a बच्चे, and you know, handling everything. क्लास में जब पहुंचो तो half the जनता is गायब. क्यों? अरे मैम, अहमदाबाद से 9 बजे आने में आप समझिए कितनी दिक्कत होती है. Now imagine that's and then I give back. I would not spare in that scenario. उसके बाद चलो 9 बजे आ गए. हमारा दूसरा क्लास होता है 11 बजे का. 11 बजे, अरे अब तो भूख लग गई, ब्रेकफास्ट करने का टाइम कहाँ था. तो अब 9 बजे वाली क्लास में आना बड़ा मुश्किल है. 11 बजे वाली क्लास में भूख लगी हुई है, फिर कंसंट्रेशन नहीं होता है. फिर 2 बजे की क्लास में अभी खा लिया है तो अब नींद आ रही है. और 4 से 6 की जो क्लास होगी उसमें हम सुबह से पढ़ रहे हैं, हम इतना थक चुके हैं. नाउ व्हेन डू यू टीच? यू टेल मी. Yeah, I think we can take a survey on this also. हमारे ज़माने में we didn't have a choice, and we dare not say something like this to our professors. And if the professor said, and then again a very interesting phenomenon which I am seeing, there's a class from let's say 9 to 11, and then there's a 11 to 2 का break, दूसरी क्लास 2 बजे से. वो 3 घंटे इतने भारी पढ़ते हैं, अब हम क्या करें? They'll not go to the library, they'll not engage in something which is मीनिंगफुल और academically oriented, या कल चलो कोई होमवर्क कर लिया, प्रोजेक्ट कर लिया, कुछ नहीं. वो या तो मतलब लगातार क्लास ले लीजिए, और नहीं तो फिर क्लास ही क्यों लेना है. I mean, where are we going? We are talking about, ma'am talked about, you know, and we all are aware of the social media challenges. So I'm not focusing on that aspect. But what I would like to really talk about is digital literacy. And this is something which is very, very important. Now, we have हमारा घर है, family है, parents है. That is the biggest support system that we have. Then we have our peer group. All of you have your friends, your colleagues. And then there is the school, the workplace, whatever. There are different segments in which we are associated with on a day-to-day basis. We are talking about the data that Dr. Shroff said, Dr. Mathur mentioned, we are talking about students who are children. 6 घंटे की real time है, and I had some slides which also where empirically the data says कि 6 घंटा is the average for the children to engage into social media platforms which are not meaningful at all. And then talking about body image issues and bullying, etc. This is all a result of that. Now we as I would say an aware society, and the onus, let me tell you, the onus doesn't lie on the teachers and the workplace alone. The onus lies on you, the young generation, to handle yourself. Digital literacy, how much resilience can you inculcate in you so that you are not victim to all these problems that are happening due to the cyber connections that we have built over a period of time. हमें ये नहीं पता है कि हमारा पड़ोसी कौन है, हमें ये नहीं पता है कि हमारे खानदान में, परिवार में क्या हो रहा है. परिवार में शादी है, I mean this is, I'm all giving you my the facts that I'm giving you is from my classroom interaction. Like Dr. Mathur, I've also been an educator for more than 20 years and plus had a corporate life for 10-12 years. So total 34 years that I'm talking about. If you ask children कि फलना के घर में शादी है, या हमारे दूर के चाचा हैं जो गोरखपुर में रहते हैं, या let's say जो पुणे में, थाने में रहते हैं, get the expression that the children have. परिवार की, खानदान की शादी में, अरे उनको तो हम जानते भी नहीं हैं, क्या करेंगे हम जाके? How many of you have heard this or said this? धीरे धीरे बहुत सारे हाथ ऊपर आएंगे. बट उनको सबको पता है कि जो कोल्ड प्ले में हुआ वो क्या हुआ, और उसके आगे अब उसका भविष्य क्या होगा. बताइए, till a week back, who knew who these people are? Without, I mean, we all know who they are. Now we all know. मुझे भी नहीं पता था. But we have to keep ourselves updated because हम आप लोगों से डील करते हैं जिसके पास हमसे ज्यादा जानकारी होती है. तो आपको सबको पता है कि जब कैलिफोर्निया में आग लगी तो कौन से सेलिब्रिटीज के घर जल गए, पड़ोसी का घर जला, वो पता है? नहीं पता है. क्यों? क्योंकि हम वो फिजिकल कनेक्शंस नहीं बनाना चाहते हैं. Why are we so shy of that? आपको अपने खानदान के लोगों के बारे में, अपने परिवार के लोगों के बारे में जानने की उत्सुकता नहीं है, लेकिन सोशल मीडिया पे किसके लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है वो सब हमें जानना है. And we are too curious to know that. Where are we going? Is this what we want? Is this what we are looking at? Is this the future? Certainly not. And here again, I slightly, talking about digital literacy. So we as aware human beings need to draw our own boundaries, need to draw our own lines. Sarkar digital acts leke aa sakti hai. There'll be, a lot of policies on that. But that unless you yourself are not aware enough, unless you yourself are not motivated enough, nothing can happen. You have to control yourself. You have to manage yourself. And another thing, just adding on to, probably just one comment which I would like to, or it's my thought. Dr. Shroff has been, she's mentioned about some 43,000 parents that you have been associated with, and a lot of schools, and there must be many educators out here. 10 years back, we all heard about having emotional intelligence as part of the syllabus, because that was the need of the hour. I feel now having digital literacy as a part of the syllabus has become the need of the hour. हर स्कूल में बच्चों को ये बताना बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है कि where do you draw the line and what are the red flags that are there the moment you are stepping onto a zone. You have multiple IDs and then you go and create fake IDs and then you are bullied and then you end up committing suicide and you are forced into nudity, you are forced into, all the illegal activities. It's just because we are naive, we are not educated, and probably we are not as informed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Um, I guess thank you for, we all know that social media and what are the issues of social media, but touching down the solution part of it, that digital literacy and how it is important. I would also like to ask ma'am that with digital literacy, the kind of technology that now we are having, especially artificial intelligence, as a psychologist, because we know the way that technology is getting bombarded on us, the information is getting bombarded on us, what should be some tactics to stay mentally healthy during this kind of bombarding that is happening on us?
One thing which I feel is just talking to people. That is the basic starting point. मैं आप लोग सारे बच्चों से and even parents से I would like to ask a question. When is the last time you sat and talked to your parents for 15 minutes uninterrupted without any technology between the two of you? Na TV chal raha, na phone chal raha. How many of you have done that? Okay, probably half. And the parents I'm asking, कि अपने बच्चे के साथ आपने बैठ के बात की जहाँ पे कुछ भी आगे पीछे, being non-judgmental, just reaching out, just talking, just being there. That is what is required. How many times are we there? Yes, we are there. Physically, हम हैं. But are we there mentally? That is the question that we are looking at. And that is where the problems starts emerging. That's what I earlier also mentioned कि पड़ोसी के घर में जाके हम बात नहीं करते, आपके मोहल्ले में क्या हो रहा है हमें नहीं पता होता है, but पूरी दुनिया का पता होता है. We have to reach out. We have to be proactively connected. When I say connected, I mean सामने सामने, physically sitting and having a chat over a cup of tea, over a cup of coffee, or just doing nothing, just being there for each other. कहीं पे गए, किसी मॉल में, किसी गार्डन में, किसी पार्क में, किसी के घर पे, just हम बैठे. And building those connections. That is what is important, without any technology around us.
I guess the message is very loud and it is very clear that बात करने से बात बनती है. Yes, ma'am, please.
जब भी हम बाहर की तरफ देखते हैं और आप मुसीबत में हैं, एक बार आप ट्राई करिएगा. Maybe you have 600 friends and 800 friends on Instagram and this and that. When you are in trouble, when you are in difficulty, in any difficulty, only your parents, only your own people will stand by you. You have a financial problem, कोई आपको पैसा नहीं देगा. Nobody. When you are into some emotional trouble, when you are very, very depressed and everything is finished for you, only your own people are there for you. Your parents and your own family. This is what I have learned, this is what I have understood, and I think I have understood well. So we are always looking for pleasure, stimulation, excitement, parties outside. We never sit down with our own family, maybe just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And if you have any kind of issue, something is going on in your life and you have questions, discuss with your parents. डांट पड़ती है तो खा लो डांट. बहुत जोर से भी डांटेंगे तो डांट खा लो. But make sure, even if they give you a punishment, I personally feel you should take it. But tell them, क्योंकि वो आपसे बड़े हैं, लाइफ में मैच्योर्ड हैं, और वो कोई ना कोई रास्ता आपके लिए ज़रूर ढूंढ के लाएंगे. But friends will not be with you. Other people whom you have been partying with and going out every evening and spending so much money on coffees and this and that, they will not be standing with you when you are in difficulty. मैंने खुद ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है कि जब आपको एक्सीडेंट हो गया, फिजिकल हैंडीकैप हो गया, आप पैरालाइज हो गए, you are bedridden, You need money for your medical aid. There is nobody from these several Instagram friends and Facebook friends. It's just the family. Family is standing with you 24/7. So my message is that build these relationships. They will be with you forever and forever until death part us. And vice versa. It's so painful to see so many elderly homes being built only in the city of Ahmedabad. Because when I was in the department, we used to take them for a visit to the old age home. And when we used to find out how many old age homes are there, oh my God, every time we got a new and a bigger figure. तो कहीं ना कहीं आप और मैं हमारे पेरेंट्स को नहीं घर पे रखते, उनको संभालते नहीं, उनका केयर नहीं करते, तभी तो वो ओल्ड एज होम में होते हैं. So it's a question for us. It's vice versa. जब आप छोटे थे, असहाय थे, सपोर्ट की जरूरत थी, उन्होंने आपकी हेल्प करी, आपका हाथ थामा. Now when they are old, they need you. You have to be with them. So build these relationships, not the relationships outside. एक बार पड़ोसी से बात नहीं करेंगे तो चलेगा, उसको थोड़ा बुरा लग जाएगा तो बाद में मना लेना. कोई फ्रेंड है, उसको आपने मना कर दिया तो चलेगा, उसको बाद में आप समझा देना कि ऐसा हुआ. But mother, father, brother, sister, siblings, the very immediate family is a very, very important part of your life. कभी आपको सिर्फ बैठना है और सिर्फ बात करनी है. Mommy, I'm in love. My daughter came and told me, I'm in love. And I want to marry this boy. So we said, okay, let's meet. Let's check it out. And let's see whether we can marry you. So just talk. As Neeta ma'am has said very correctly, you need to talk and take care of these relationships. Thank you.
Very well said, and with the personal experience. Building connection is like building new bridges, and they are going to stay long. Now, I would like to move to Professor Mukherjee on today's topic. What is your take on the emotional disorders in adolescence and the well-being issues that they are going through? Yes, sir, you can use it.
Can you hear me? Okay. So, these are all strange words to you, but I'm not able to escape them. So, this is something that I feel that everybody should know: the basics of semiotics, the basics of psychoanalysis, and the basics of media theory. Because we are constantly surrounded by all these things, and we don't know what to do with them, right? So what we're going to do in this quickly in just 10 minutes is just understand the semiotics of modern work, understand the Lacanian gaze in the workplace, and understand the idea of McLuhan's media ecology in a very simple way. And if any of these philosophers are alive, they'd kill me if they knew I was making it so simple. But the first thing we need to understand is, how many of you are doing a job? Please put up your hands. Right. Out of you, how many of you are planning to leave your job in 2 years? Put up your hands. Right. So surveys have shown, that 50% of all young people plan to leave their job in 2 years. Right. Switch back to 30, 40 years ago. My parents, my grandparents, they took a job and they stuck to the job for life. They retired in that after 40, 50 years, and they believed that they had this kind of a faith that I am supposed to take care of this organization. Now, this is a complete change that we are seeing, right? This, I hate my job. I need to change my job, right? What is this? Why is this? What's happening with all these various gens that we are talking about, the youths? Why is it that what is the psychology there? What's the mindset there? Which has become the accepted thing that this is what is okay to do, right? So we need to figure that out, right? So the first thing is every workplace today has something that Lacan and semiotics we call master signifiers, right? कि आजकल क्या है हसल कल्चर सबसे पहले क्या है आप लिंक्डइन खोल लिंक्डइन सुना है आपने राइट LinkedIn is a very dangerous place to be. On Facebook, everybody is having a party, right? But on LinkedIn, everybody is so successful, right? I'm the only one, and everybody is so humble on LinkedIn. They need to humbly say that they have won some great award, right? I understand the humility, but this humility is making me feel extremely low and inferior. And I start getting really tense about what I am doing. Am I doing the right thing? I start getting dissatisfied with all the stuff that I've been doing. And I think I need to change my job. So, the LinkedIn signifiers, first of all, need to be changed or not believed. The other thing is this idea of productivity. In every private company, productivity is a master signifier. It's non-negotiable. You've got to be doing something all the time. That's why when the boss walks past, you have to act like you're working. Even he knows you're not working. Right? But the point is, you've got to act productive. And the person who is most productive gets promotions, gets a raise, gets a higher salary, gets praise. This master signifier of productivity is reducing us to machines because it's only machines that are that productive. So we need to change this whole. Today's youth understands that we are not machines. We don't want to be machines. And if you treat me like a machine, I'm going to change my job. Right? And it's okay. Today's youth have become wiser. Right? You know, we think about how Instagram पे 8-second attention span है, right? मगर यही 8-second session span वाला 3 घंटे तक binge watching Big Bang Theory, binge watching Netflix, binge watching adolescence, right? Not stopping for 3 hours. Then you need to consider, do they have an 8-second span? They don't. They can watch something for 3 hours if they want to. So first we need to remove from our minds what the media has told us about Gen Z. That Gen Z has a short attention span. No, they do not. If you hook them, they stay with you for life. Right? That's why I always say this. There's no such thing as a bad student. There's only a teacher who didn't know how. Some teacher who knows how to hold that attention, if they can hold that attention for the next 1 hour, there's not a single bad student in the class. Right? That's all we need to do. We need to figure out how to hold their attention. And for that, you need to understand their psychology. That is, this idea of I am not always available to you. Just because I am always connected, it doesn't mean that you can call me anytime and tell me to make an Excel sheet for you. It's not going to happen. I'm going to block you after 5 o'clock. Right? Even if you send me an Insta invite, no, invite, I won't even let you join my contacts. Right? You're not a friend. You're my boss. You stay my boss. Keep that professional boundary. And today's youth knows the boundaries. The trouble is, the oldies don't know. Right? We the oldies, we can't figure it out. Right? And we keep treading on कि यार WhatsApp तो है ना. मैं तेरे को बोला ना कि तो वो एक्सेल शीट बना क्यों नहीं बनाया. अरे 5 बजे के बाद WhatsApp पे नहीं हूँ. आप WhatsApp नहीं समझते उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि यूज करने से समझ गए. Like today's youth is using AI but does not know what is an LLM. In the same way, the oldies use WhatsApp, but they don't know the meaning of DM. इसमें भी मर्यादा होता है. Do you get this? Simple things. Understanding the youth psychology, right? What the youth understand and what semiotics teaches us, that the world is a structure. Wherever we go, we make structures. Our office is a structure. This class, this whole audience is a structure. There is a structure everywhere. And structures are based on binary hierarchies. There's always one boss and one employee. But today's youth, they know this, that the true nature of the structure is this. What is the true nature of the structure? That the boss is outside the structure. You better come at 9 o'clock, but boss can come at 11. Deadlines are for you. All the deadlines for the boss, चलेगा. कल कर लेगा वो. Client से वो निपट लेगा. But तू क्यों काम से नहीं कर रहा है? Do it on time. All the rules are for the employees, not for the boss. And today's youth has understood that. And that's why every young person today wants to be the boss. And when there are no employees and everybody is a boss, where's the organization? Be entrepreneurial. Start your own business. Everybody starts their own business, not one employee. A hospital full of doctors, no nurses. Right? Why? We all want to be doctors, no? Right? Everybody wants to be the principal. Nobody wants to be a teacher. In this age, how do you convince a young person to stay within the structure? This is the point. The only way to do it is to understand that first boundaries have to be made. All boundaries started collapsing with work from home. If my work and my home are not separate, my home becomes my work and my work becomes my home, and I don't know where to go. Until the pandemic, sir, do I have time? 5 minutes? Thank you. Until the pandemic, women used to go to the office to get away from housework and come back home to get away from the office work. Now, especially women who work from home, they're finished. They have nothing, no house. The work is not just 24/7, it's 28/7. Because there's no end to any work. They have to do both things simultaneously, and that's impossible. Right? Once boundaries start collapsing, all definitions start changing, and meaning no longer stays, meaninglessness happens. Right? So, once the youth enter the workplace, they now have to understand this. Now I'm moving from what the youth are going through to something that can help them get through it. This is Lacanian's idea of desire, right? We are all born with a primary lack. All of us have a sense of lack, all right? And therefore this sense of lack leads to a desire. This desire leads to a fantasy that if I do this, then my desire will be fulfilled. But it's a fantasy because after that I'll be desiring again. Right? But temporarily, when I achieve what I want, I get a sense of fulfillment. And that sense of fulfillment is what he calls jouissance. But that will pass and there will be a new desire and a new lack. I need a young volunteer. Quickly. What's your name, sir, madam? Gitika. Gitika? Gitika, you said? Gitika. Sorry, Gitika, tell me something you really desire. To be successful, I was thinking of an object that you desire. Let's say a car. Right? Is there a particular car that you like? Wow. That is so good.
Thing.
That is so specific, right? Yeah. I am so happy. This just shows how the culture is changing. Here is a young girl who knows exactly which brand of car she wants. This is beautiful. This is just so amazing, right? Okay, can you tell me some qualities that make that car attractive to you? The shape, and the speed, the pickup, right? The power of the engine, right? The engine, right? All these things, right? Very attractive, right? Thank you so much. Is there anyone here else who would like to volunteer? Who said so? Yes. So what's your name? Devasya. Devasya, have you ever been in love? No. Finished. Next volunteer, please. Yes. What's your name? Anant. Anant, have you been in love? Yes. Can you tell me some qualities of that made that person desirable to you? Okay. Unlike other girls. Yeah. Then? So she was punctual, she was choosy, and she was picky. And that's what you found desirable about her, right? It's very interesting, right? However, did that relationship work out? No. Then, did you? Did you find somebody else? Did you love someone else after that? So, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? You see, desire is what Lacan calls an asymptotic curve. What is an asymptotic curve? It's like a hyperbolic graph. It is something that constantly goes closer and closer to the x-axis, but never reaches it. Infinitely. That's how desire is. We are all born lacking. And we are hardwired to desire. And because we are hardwired to desire, one thing is pakka, that the thing that you desire, you will never get. And the thing that you desire, therefore, has nothing desirable about it. That girl that you love was not lovable. That car that you want is not desirable. The only reason you're desiring it or that person is because you are hardwired to desire, and you got to desire something. This came, so you desired this. If the youth understand this, they will not fall for the hustle culture, the crazy ideas of success that people give you, that you got to have a 14th floor office overlooking the Empire State Building in New York and an iMac on your table and an IT job in the West. All these crazy ideas that you're given, that these, the definitions of success can only change when you realize that there is nothing desirable. It is only that you need to desire, and that is why you are finding it desirable. Once that happens, you don't allow people to play with your lack. You decide, thank you. You decide your lack, and you decide what your desire is, and therefore you don't fall for the fantasy, and you control the way in which you lead your life instead of letting the capitalist market control your life. Right? Once the youth understands this, they are not going to fall for, give me 10,000 more, I will move to Singapore and leave my half dead parents here. They'll stay in Ahmedabad for 10,000 less because they will know what they desire. not what the market tells them to desire. And none of these things are what I am saying. These are all different philosophers, right? So, this is how the desire works. So, we need to change the master signifiers. Move from hustle to care. Move from success to learning. Youth don't want success anymore. Youth want to keep learning. Right? Youth no longer want short-term profit. They want long-term gains. Youth don't want 7-day weeks. They want 4-day weeks. Youth don't want productivity. They want meaningfulness. They don't want to be treated like machines. They want to be treated like men and human beings. Today's youth don't want a thing to do. They want a thing to be. Tell me who to be. I want a role. मैं कौन हूँ वो बताओ. क्या करूँ वो तो बाद में आ जाएगा. Give me somebody to become and I will give my life to you. Make me just do something. I don't want to be a machine. So, make the office a place of art. Bring aesthetics into the office and everybody will stay there forever. Bring beauty, bring love, bring care, and people will never leave your office. Care should become the only principle of all workplace. If the boss cares for the employee and the employee cares for the boss, the office will run itself. You see, after 30 years of marriage, I have understood one thing. That the relationships that stay together are relationships that care. And what is this care? It is that I know what my wife needs before she knows it. And I make sure she has it. And it works both ways. I don't know what I want to eat. She knows. I don't know what's going to trouble me. She knows and she's already taken care of it. That's how if you bring into the workplace care, every office becomes heaven. And nobody wants to go home. Right? That's the last part of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I would, after that powerful presentation, we still have final comments from the both the expert. I would request Dr. Mathur to give her a presentation. Yeah.
So very good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick run through the presentation that we were asked to prepare. Since I've been an educator for so many years, I've been asked to focus on something which relates to the adolescent. So these are my thoughts. Maybe you think differently. So I feel that these youngsters, these very beautiful people, and I, as their teacher, I have looked inside them. For me, it's not important whether you get good grades, whether you always score the highest, you always get the gold medal. Of course, I'm happy. But it's more important what kind of a human being you are. I have understood from my relationship with my students the kind of immense love that you give them. Parental love is different. And when they come here to the class, they have some expectations from the teachers. Because teachers will be constantly scolding, and they'll be constantly directing and constantly instructing. So my room was always full of students who would just come and talk and just laugh and talk. My first 1 or 2 minutes before I started the class would always be with a nice, warm, big smile that I would like to enter. Nobody wants to see a grumpy face. You had your problems at home, so it's your problem, it's not other people's problems. And you must know how to take that. We must know our boundaries as professionals, that you leave behind all that at home. You have to learn and train yourself. You can't take a grumpy look and walk into the class. So be happy. Now give a nice, beautiful smile in the class and enter the class. So why I mentioned this is because my first slide says create emotionally safe schools and colleges, because I'm going to talk a little about the NEP. So you will gain knowledge, you will study, because that's what you are here for. That's your objective. That's why your parents have sent you. And of course you are going to do it. And I have always believed in my students. Just now sir mentioned that nobody is a bad boy, nobody is a good girl or bad girl. It's not like this. If you are able to get across the most complex subject, the most difficult subject can be understood by the child. It's the way you do it. It's the way you teach it. It's the way you create a nice emotional environment in the class that yes, you can come to me. Yes, you can talk to me. I'm not just your teacher. So we talk as two adults. You have a problem? I had a student. She was a Sindhi girl. She fell in love with a Muslim Hyderabadi boy. She says, "Ma'am, मैं क्या करूं?" I said, "शादी कर लो. You love him? शादी कर लो. पर parents से बात कर लो and let there not be a trouble." Why should religion come in between your love? Then things happen. She married and she's very happy. She has a family. So children come with lots of problems, academic problems. नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है, नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, fees relating issues. So somewhere knowledge will be gained. You will study because that is your objective. That's why you are here. But to create emotionally safe schools and colleges for a good mental health is very, very important. So the New Education Policy 2020, it is focusing on the holistic education. As an academician for 31 years, it's very important for me as I stand here that I would like to not only academically let my student progress, but also emotionally, psychologically, and socially make sure that their development happens. This is my belief that academically, if they score a little less today, tomorrow they'll compensate for it. But if they are emotional development, if they emotionally crash down, or if there are psychological issues, to come out of that is going to be very, very difficult for the adolescent. So let the learning process be very joyful, very nice, and like I teach psychology for so many years, so they should just sail through all these subjects and feel, let them understand the practical aspect. Let there be, I can't say it can be stress-free, but as stress-free as possible, and let it be experiential. Just to give you a quick example, we teach the Rorschach ink blot technique, which is a projective test. So I've taught that in the class, I've done the theory, but how about the practical, experiential aspect? Unless I hold the card in my hand, unless I know what it looks like, do I hold it like this? Do I hold it like this? What do I do? How am I going to do the scoring? What is the interpretation? Unless I'm taught this, and like this, there are so many examples I can give. Unless I experience my subject, I will never learn. So there, we did a lot of experiential learning, and that made the students happy, and they learned it in the right way. So this is what NEP is supporting. emotionally safe environments. I've been asked to wind up in 2 minutes. So we make the whole process flexible. One very important issue, there are a lot of counselors sitting over here, psychologists sitting here. Every school needs a counselor, not somebody from the staff room who's an elderly teacher and experienced. No, I disagree with that, and I have objection to that. They are not trained counselors. You must know psychology very well. You should be empathetic. You should know how to deal with the young minds. And you should be qualified. Take your degrees from the right place. You should be licensed. And then you can be called a counselor. So every school must have a counselor. Whenever need be, you must have a psychiatrist coming in. Whenever need be, you must have a clinical psychologist coming in. There are lots of problems. I just spoke in my interaction a couple of minutes back. Why are we always concentrating on the depressed child? Why are we always concentrating on any child who had academic failure? Even before the normal child reaches there, we got to catch them. So there's one word for it, identification. So the teacher has to be taught how to identify these children in the classroom. हम तब वहाँ पहुँचते हैं जब आग लग गई, जब सब कुछ जल गया, सब बर्बाद हो गया. तब आप पानी डाल रहे हैं, फायर ब्रिगेड आ रही है, all that is finished. Everything is burnt, it's all finished. I mean emotionally. And to bring you back to your normal self emotionally is not easy at all. So, we need to have counselors who are dedicated, who are focused, and who will be able to help the child, and they'll be able to build capacity. I can't talk much. With great hope, I had prepared these slides. One very big problem in the system, education system. You bring in NEP, you bring in anything, but the basic education system, you don't train the teachers who are talking to you. They have a lot of mental health problems. अभी सर ने बोला ना, बॉस को ब्लॉक कर दो, बॉस को ये बोलो. मैं थोड़ा मन में डर रही थी सर, because I have a daughter, she's working in the corporate in Mumbai, और बॉस उसको क्रिसमस ईव पे रात को 8 बजे कहता है ये कर वो कर. बॉस को सर ब्लॉक कर दिया तो शी विल लूज हर जॉब एंड शी विल बी फायर्ड. और वो कहती मम्मी सच्ची में डर लगता है मुझे. इट्स नॉट इजी एंड मनी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपको आपके लिए yes no so on that observation I'm reflecting back. Her company has lost so many people. They've just been fired. So those teachers who are imparting knowledge to you, उनका mental health check करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. I talk about myself also. I come from a university system. Every year we had to go through training programs. And those training programs updated us. अभी क्या करना है in my subjects, in psychology, what is new, how it is to be done. NEP तो अब आई है, हम तो वो कब से कर रहे थे. Experiential learning हम कब से ही कर रहे थे. So we need to train our teachers. I'll put it into short, quickly, that their mental health needs to be taken care of. हमने कभी ऐसा सोचा है कि टीचर जाके किसको बात करे जब उसको प्रॉब्लम हो. स्टूडेंट तो दौड़ दौड़ के आएंगे, इतने सारे आएंगे, but when teacher has a problem, where will she go? You think प्रिंसिपल के पास जाना ठीक होता है? No, वहाँ तो कुछ और ही हो जाएगा. So it's very important that the teacher also has somebody with whom she can go and talk, somebody who's compassionate, somebody who can, share her problems. So we call this the mental health first aid training. For the teachers, they have to be empowered. The role of the counselor, the importance of the counselor. Yes, pathological problems have to be very immediately looked into. You have a depressed child in the class, the child is not eating his lunch every day, he's not coming to school, there's academic failure, parents are going through divorce, so the child is emotionally into a very big issue. So many things are there. So the importance of a counselor is one of the key things in NEP. Social emotional learning in NEP is very, very important. I'm sorry I can't talk about it. Empathy एक ऐसा word है जो हमारे लिए as counselors, psychologists, teachers बहुत important है. Put yourself in that person's shoes. See how that person feels and it will be so much easy for you to understand. So social emotional learning, holistic learning is what NEP is concentrating upon as an educator. So mindfulness का concept अभी बहुत चला है, very important for today's time. I was teaching a subject called positive psychology. So there we talk a lot about resilience, how to build your self-esteem, and how to be optimistic in life. And one message for everyone is that in the worst situation of life, death से ज़्यादा बुरा शायद कुछ नहीं हो सकता. But when there is death, how do you be positive? कोई बोलेगा कि मर गए हैं और आप बोलते पॉजिटिव हो ना, पर उसमें से बाहर तो आना है ना. The person who's dead is dead. But you are not dead, so you have to come out of it. How to be resilient, how to be positive in the worst situation, how to feel grateful. Our generation needs to learn gratitude very much. Digital citizenship is something what NEP is also concentrating upon, and especially in relation to the mental health. So how digitally you can be safe, you can be taking care of yourself, what are the challenges, opportunities. I was very excited about all this, but there is no time. So mental health literacy should be given. किसी के syllabus में आपने notice किया mental health का कोई part नहीं है. How to, have better mental health. सब कहते हैं स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया हुआ, ये डिप्रेशन हुआ, ये ऑटिस्टिक हुआ, but nobody practices good mental health in any school, in any college, in any university. There should be something, some programs for everyone where you can practice good mental health. So how students are going to learn, and this is the NEP's vision, the global mental health, building emotionally resilient generations. So as Sir had very rightly mentioned, you will work. You'll go to work, you'll find a job, you'll earn your money. But if you are emotionally strong, I really liked that one statement he made, other people in the periphery cannot disturb you. Because people in the periphery, जैसे आप एग्जाम में जाते तो स्कूल में याद है, अरे तूने वो पढ़ा, यही पूछने वाले हैं टीचर, एकदम आप घबरा जाते हैं, तो जो भी आता है वो भी आप भूल जाते हैं. स्पेशली बोर्ड्स में ऐसा बहुत होता था. So if you are sure about yourself, you are emotionally resilient, कि मैंने जो पढ़ा है वो सही है और ऐसा ही आएगा, जो आएगा मैं अच्छी तरह से लिखूंगा या लिखूंगी. So if you are emotionally resilient, then the outside world cannot really disturb you as much as we think it can. So the first aid training is very important. Mental health first aid training is very important for students. How to manage your emotions. हम डर बहुत जल्दी जाते हैं. किसी ने ऐसा किया, हम डर गए. अब cyber bullying है, cyber victimization. One of my students from Afghanistan worked on cyber bullying and cyber victimization, and it was a wonderful journey, a lot of learning for me too. And it was great to know how you can do lots of things over here by which you can emotionally, because what is this cyberbullying and cyber victimization at the core? It's your fear inside you. That is what they are attacking. So to, you have you emotionally safe, That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for providing your comments on emotionally safe environment and capacity building. I'll request Dr. Sinha for her final comments.
Very quickly, we are very, very short of time and we have already exceeded. So I was talking about digital literacy. So just there's one slide which I would want to show, because most of the things we have already mentioned, discussed by other panelists, so no point in, beating around those things. Of course, statistics we are all aware, and 6 hours is what we were talking about. We know about, digital addiction and subjective well-being with reference to the social media usage. Talked about family support, social support, withdrawal, how peer support helps. What I really wish to talk about is, in very few words, is about the digital transformation that we are really looking forward to. Because when we are here as responsible citizens of the society at a podium, we need to talk about the constructive aspects which would really help in shaping the society. And as Dr. Mathur mentioned about, we work with students, and of late, when I talk about digital literacy, there are a few parameters, there are a few reference points which we identified when we were talking about what are the areas that can be put to check, and what are the things that can be done at a very basic level, at the starting level, which would really help build that resilience among the people. And then we are talking about digital immunity, which talks about a lot of digital emotional regulation, autonomy, control, mindfulness, mindful digital engagement, self-efficacy. Now, these are some of the things that when we are talking about adolescents, they are probably too young to understand. And that is where I feel that it is our responsibility as members of the civil society, as parents, as teachers, as educators, to make the child understand about these aspects. Right from the child time, we are giving that device to the child. And agar hum aisa kar payenge, then we can look for a more structured future, a more happening mental well-being of the present generation, because a lot is being talked about the way Gen Z, millennials, etc. Now we don't, because they are the future. We don't want to be them to be lost. We are aiming to be, among the top 3 nations now. So how do we build this among the population? That is what we have to work upon. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता, and which I jokingly tell my students also, कि जितना mental health we just heard that it's become a pandemic, and हमारी दुकान तो बड़ी अच्छी चलेगी as psychologists, but then it is at the cost of a lot of things that the society doesn't want. Thank you.
This was indeed a very informative and enlightening session. Just to organize the thought, Dr. Mathur talked about the use of NEP and how NEP can help us to create a safe environment, and her focus on building the capacity to deal with the situation, capacity to be a better human being. I agree with Dr. Sinha in her comment about it's not just digital literacy, but it is also about digital transformation. We are living in a world where we are all bombarded with different gadgets and information and technology. So that transformation will help in mental health. Finally, Professor Mukherjee had a wonderful presentation. And at the same time, I also feel somewhere that it is not about a particular generation who needs the change and a generation who we should be worried about. It is all of us, we are going through a transition. It is not just particular generation. Like if we define Gen Z, they are in front of screen for 6 hours, then who is not? Who is not nowadays? So in a way, we all are Gen Z. It's not just the age specific thing, but it is more about the kind of environment that we are experiencing. I would like to thank you, all the panelists, for their wonderful participation and their thoughtful information. I would also like to thank you, all the participants who have been very patient and participative. Thank you very much.
Wow, quite an exciting panel discussion with extremely interesting presentations. Now we are taking this moment to felicitate all our esteemed panelists, and I would request Dr. Vishal to please felicitate all the panelists.